All right, so this video, I think I'm going to talk about maybe two slides. So we had mentioned that we have the atmosphere, and we had said that it's made up of a mixture of gases, and we had said the main one that's there is nitrogen. It's 78%, and it's unless you're a diver, it's really not an issue with you, right? It's just 78%. It diffuses in and out of your cells just like oxygen does, but it doesn't interact. Now, if you're a diver and you go down underwater where you're under pressure and you come back up quickly, sometimes it can cause problems, and that's what causes what they refer to as the bends. It's a horrible kind of a problem that divers have to be aware of. But unless you are scuba diving and underwater for long periods of time, it's no big deal. Oxygen, we said you have to have it. Carbon dioxide, you make it, you produce it. And then we have this thing called argon. Argon is one of the inert gases. And so, again, to think about the chemistry, we had said that if you have a filled outer electron shell, you don't react with anything, right? Because you are stable. Argon is one of those. And the name argon that your book says in Greek means lazy. It doesn't do anything. So we had said that we can come up with 99.9% of atmosphere in those three gases. And then we had said we have carbon dioxide that's present there. And carbon dioxide, it's present in 0.04% concentration. Now, in order to make that a little more relatable, they talk about parts per million. And so the carbon dioxide, another way of saying 0.04% would be to say in the atmosphere, we have approximately 400 parts per million carbon dioxide. Again, that's part of that 1/10 of 1% that contains the other gases. Now, what else is there? Pollution, air pollution. So air pollution is also part of this 1/10 of 1% of the atmosphere. Okay. So when we talk about our atmosphere, so I'm now sort of shifting to the very next slide. In this slide, we have a picture of the atmosphere. And we had said gravity is what holds the air close to the ground. And so because of that, we have layers of atmosphere. And the layer of atmosphere that's closest to the ground that contains all weather, I mean, it's a very, from our perspective, it's a very thick layer. There's actually, going up to virtually space, there's a number of other very thick layers. But the one that's closest to Earth that we're going to talk about in chapter 2 is the troposphere. And so the troposphere is the lowest portion of the atmosphere. It contains most of the molecules, most of the gas molecules, even though we have 5 layers of atmosphere, 4 of them above. They're further and further from Earth, so they contain less and less of the gases. If you're into flying, or mountain climbing, if you get up around 15,000 feet, you need supplemental oxygen. And we go, 50,000 feet, or I'm going to look to see the actual number, but it's in that vicinity. It looks like 48,000 feet. So the lowest layer of the atmosphere extends from ground level up to 48,000 feet. And this is the troposphere. And so this is where all weather, everything that we're going to be talking about, all pollution, this is where it's found. Now, and we do have a climatic condition which can make pollution worse. And in a place like Pittsburgh, an area that is surrounded by mountains or has a lot of hills around it, you can get what we call a temperature inversion. And so what it is this occurs when you have a layer of cold air that's holding in the air pollution below it. It's a condition where cooler air holds the a layer of warmer air below, and it makes it much worse for breathing, for air pollution. And later on, I'm going to give away some of my thunder, but if you look at the cities in the United States that have the worst air pollution, one of them is Pittsburgh. Sorry to say, one of them is Pittsburgh. And we'll talk about particulate matter, and that's one of the big issues here in the Pittsburgh area. All right, so we're going to stop here, and we're going to go on, and I'm going to start talking about the individual specific pollutants that we have to worry about.